Hey folks, real quick. It's Thomas. I got a video from Frankie, and I wanted to review it on Friday during our show, but I couldn't wait. I had to do a little. I have to do my own little commentary on it. Um, so one of the things that we talk about a lot during the podcast, during the show, is aggression and self control. That's the subtext of everything. Self control, but specifically aggression. And most of the guys on the panel are older. We're all over 30. Some of us are a little bit higher in age than that, a little bit further down the line, but that's not the point. The point being, as older practitioners of a combat sport like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, we have to be very careful with a few different things. Safety is one of them, but also keeping our training partners safe because honestly, when it comes down to it, a good training partner is priceless. However, in order to get good training partners, you have to cultivate good training partners. A white belt who comes in the gym doesn't really know much about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and they won't for a while. You have to help them along to the point where they can be a good training partner for you or for everybody, you know. But you have to keep these people coming back. And as somebody who sticks with a combat sport, especially somebody who makes it past white belt, there's certain things that you just don't do. Beating up on the white belts is one of them. Um, the best way to teach them a lesson and experience is to actually stop what you're doing and actually just talk it out with them. If they do something dangerous, bring them aside, talk it out with them. Tell them this is dangerous, this is what you did. Next time, just don't do it, or do this thing this way and it's a lot safer. So, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because this video that Frankie sent me is essentially a blue belt teaching a white belt a lesson over and over again. And after watching it, I realized a couple things. One, seems like this guy has a bit of an anger problem, perhaps. Um, Two, if you really wanted to teach this guy a lesson, cranking submissions on him is not the way to do it. And we'll watch the video in a second, but yeah, let's just get into it.
So this is one of the white belts in the gym. I should have showed you guys how we got here, but I don't feel like re-editing everything. But I gave him this position, and come to find out, he knew exactly what to do in his.
So it looks like the guy is trying to do some sort of triangle from top, except his body is facing away from the guy in blue's head. The guy in the blue is the narrator. He's the blue belt. The guy in the white, he's a white belt. Um, yeah, we've all been in a similar position, especially, when somebody's stepping over our head and trying to do a Kimura. But let's continue.
His position, and I could not get myself out. Now his mistake was, instead of just hurrying and finishing what he was doing, he decides to sit on my face. And for
Tap. Problem solved. If you couldn't get out of it and he's got a triangle on you, tap.
me, I was so pissed off because he was laughing. You see, he kind of takes his time and he's giggling about it. So I push him off and throw off the headgear because that's really what got me slipping. And here we go, competition mode. So I do a clean step over, go for.
No, dude. If he pissed you off, talk it out. Rolling while you're pissed off, especially as somebody who's more experienced, it leads to nothing good. Nothing good at all.
A Kimura. And yeah, sure, I'm pissed off, but notice I didn't rip his entire shoulder out the socket. There is still a.
You didn't, but you hurt him. Look at the way he's holding his arm. Like, what's the lesson there? Did you tell him before all this this point prior, or before this point, did you tell him why you were pissed off? Did you tell him what he did that was incorrect, rude, or whatever that got you heated? Because if you didn't, this is a lost lesson.
The method to my madness, and I have a really big point to prove. So I pass this guard, and then we.
What's the point? That you're angry? Because if that's your point, what is there to, what satisfaction do you get from beating up on a white belt? Oops. Sorry. Hold on. Here we go.
Exactly what to do in this position, and I could
Fast forward a little bit.
face. And for me, I was so pissed off because he was laughing. That's really what got me slipping. And here we go, competition mode. So I do a clean step over, go for a Kimura. And yeah, sure, I'm pissed off, but notice I didn't rip his entire shoulder out the socket. There is still a method to my madness, and I have a really big point to prove. So I pass this guard, and then we go into a scramble, and then I catch him immediately in a Darce choke. And because it's a blood choke, I crank my hardest trying to rip his head off. You can crank.
Don't crank submissions, man. Even if it's a blood choke, even if it's somebody you don't like, cranking a submission on a white belt, bro, like, not cool. Not cool at all. Strike one, losing your temper. Strike two, not talking to the guy and telling him what he did wrong. Strike three, starting this chain of sequence where you just submit the guy. You already gone through strike three. This is just, yeah.
Hard on blood chokes. And of course, you see I'm standing back up. I'm like, come on, he's trying to take his time, but I'm not playing it off. I have a really big point to prove.
What's the point again? What is the point you're trying to prove? That you can beat up a white belt?
So then you're going to see me try to go for a toe hold, and it looks kind of like
You're not even supposed to be doing toe holds at blue belt.
I was trying to do it violently, but he just kicked his foot out. And then I moved into the armbar position, and then you'll see me eventually get the armbar position. Even when it's fully cranked, I still do not hip into it and pop his stuff out the socket. There is a calmness to my anger. And you see me standing right back up, and now that little...
I hate to say it, man. You're being a dick at this point. And again, without telling this guy why you're angry, what he did wrong, all of this is just aggression.
Little cocky smile that he had in the beginning, it is gone, but I am not done. So I start going for what you would call a reverse, actually no, a back triangle. And then I end up squeezing so hard that blood shoots out his nose. So knowing TikTok, somebody's going to be butthurt and say, oh, Smitty, that's your ego. But after posting so many videos, you can't really read the situation through the phone. And sure, I was pissed, and I did leave.
You squeeze his neck so hard in a triangle that blood came out of his nose? You know what, man? I hope one of the upper belts from your gym sees this TikTok video and has a thorough heart-to-heart with you. Because if there was another guy at your gym who was like you and taught lessons like this, you would be in for a hurting. Luckily, most of the guys who make it up to purple and brown, from my experience, wouldn't do that. I take that back. I know two who would, and they would mangle you. But this is a sport where we have to cultivate relationships with people to keep them interested and keep them coming. Doing this and then posting it on the internet, it's not a good thing, man. Not a good thing.
Leave it on the mat, but this was me putting in check past rolls.
Alright, so my final thoughts. to anybody who, all right, to anybody who's a beginner in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu who sees this type of behavior, stop the roll, go talk to your coach, go talk to somebody else who's in charge. For anybody who's an upper belt who engages in this type of behavior with white belts, um, I seriously advise you not posting that crap on the internet. Because if somebody, if I was a gym owner and I saw somebody from my gym doing this and then posting a video on the internet about it, you would no longer be practicing at my gym. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I can't stand. And this is the type of behavior that gets people hurt. This is the type of behavior that gets people to quit, and this is the type of behavior that can snowball into all sorts of dangerous and nasty things. Oh, we're gonna have a field day with this video on Friday. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to bed. That's a shame. Wish you the best of luck, man, but don't ever do that crap again. Jeez.